guys. Hey guys, this is Andrea from Enabling Progress Conversations around the NDIS. I am here with a friend, colleague, and long-term friend of the show. You've been with us before this was even an idea.
We have indeed, yes.
And I owe him a public apology. We have been trying to tee this up for, 3 months?
Yeah, ships passing in the night, nothing seems to go the right way.
I know. But you and I have been busy. As I've said over on YouTube, I'm now back in community pharmacy.
Yes.
And look, your customer service never changes, but there has been a lot of things that's changed. However, guys, Andrew has been so busy since we last caught up. Do you want to talk about your additional qualifications that you've gained?
So I have recently finished the next round of study to be able to diagnose and prescribe for some straightforward health ailments for people who, particularly when it's difficult to get in to see the doctor, often there's a 2 or 3 week waiting period. Or honestly, if you're used to seeing your pharmacist for a lot of things, we can now look after a bit more for you along the way. It's great.
Yes. As well, so yeah. And you also do have your mental health certificate as well?
Yes. So I'm have an acknowledgement of advanced practice in mental health care for patients. Yes.
Yeah, because let's leave that one.
Yeah, having seen it on and off for many years, it's a very common thing throughout the population, but also through into the community pharmacy, and being able to offer that extra hand for patients who need a little bit more personalised looking after.
Yes, my take is very, very basic. I always have a good dad joke up my sleeve, but you can use things like that to start the conversation.
No, absolutely.
And now, thank you. I'm looking at mine as well. Guys, I'm still disorganised as ever. So now, this is a huge one that you and I know, but we need to get out there. That pharmacies in Australia do much more than just filling scripts. So what do you guys offer here as well?
So look, throughout pretty much every pharmacy, you'll find somebody who is willing to talk, willing to discuss, actually provide that education and insight onto the medications and treatments. Knowledge does go beyond the medicines itself. To know how the medicine works, you need to know how the disease states work. So there's a lot of extra information that your pharmacist is able to do and look after. And a lot of times once we start getting an interplay between different conditions and different medicines, that's where we really come in and can be particularly helpful to, even if it's just as straightforward, as simple as, can I take these together? Does this need a different time of day? All the way through to, this dose has changed and I'm getting these troubles.
Yes.
What could it be due to? So there's plenty of information there, and honestly, you'd be hard pressed to find a pharmacist that doesn't love to stop and talk and spend more time than they should yammering away.
Yes, I am not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. But yes, and also polypharmacy is huge in our disability and aged care community.
Very much.
I know that is now becoming a specialty in and of itself in the geriatric community.
Yes.
Now, that leads me into my next question, and we need to do a whole podcast on this one. But psychotropic medication in the disability space, how are they used? Because you hear psychotropic medications run around, but you also hear it used interchangeably with chemical restraints.
Indeed.
They are not the same thing.
No, and it does come down to definitions and the like there. Well, a psychotropic medication is simply something that has an effect within the brain or within how the brain's functioning. So that runs a very wide gambit from antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications, antipsychotics or mood stabilizers, through to epileptic treatments.
Yes.
So there are a lot of medicines that fall into the psychotropic space. The definition for a chemical restraint comes onto how it's prescribed, how that clinical reasoning comes about for deciding to prescribe it. And chemical restraints, rightly so, have been demonised isn't the right word, have been frowned upon because they
Yes.
can be used inappropriately, much like a physical restraint is and
Yes.
very common, can be used inappropriately. A medication that is used for sundowning for
Yes.
Alzheimer's patients, that is used for anxiety and mood stabilising for, let's say, an ASD or
Yes.
ADHD patient. Those medicines
Yes.
used in this conjunction and with that clinical processing through prescriber and patient and family with that decision process.
Family is a huge point
Very
in
much.
there.
Yes, that's at that point. It's not a clinical restraint or a medication restraint as such. Those medications can be used as
Yes.
a chemical restraint, and it comes down to how it's written up and where it's used, and the appropriateness of that use as well.
Yes, and that's where a lot of education goes into that as well. So if you say, I'm going to throw you with this one, is challenges with training gaps with support workers, our heart goes out to them. They
Yes.
are an amazing resource in the community.
Very much.
But do you see training gaps around medication safety?
Sadly, yes. And a lot of times it's rarely the fault of the support worker.
Yes.
Rarely do you have a support worker who is doing things outside of their training or doing things against the guidelines and the like. More often than not, it is somebody who is well-meaning or who simply is unaware that there's a potential trouble.
Yes.
And look, this circles back to that idea of having a conversation with the pharmacist, the family, the prescriber. It's often difficult to be able to have a discussion with the prescriber. They're more pressed for time than most of us.
Yes, they are.
But that's probably the joy I have in pharmacy is the ability to be readily available,
Yes.
be very present within the community and able to be found, and to be able to offer high quality, accurate and personalised information for the patients that are there. So the care workers and the people who are there looking after them, the biggest thing is if there's any inkling of doubt or unsurety,
Yes.
you have processes, I imagine, within your facilities and within your businesses to work within,
Yes.
but you also have pharmacists. Toowoomba's got some of the most heavily. We've got more pharmacists around town than most other places.
We have more pharmacies per capita than, yeah, it is. And we've got some amazing specialty pharmacists as well.
Yeah. There are some really good colleagues around town, absolutely.
Yes, and full disclosure, we are colleagues, and us girls can't get away with anything as caregivers, community nurses. If you've got any questions, just pop in.
Yes.
As well, pop in. And
personally, I would love to talk to anyone and everyone. There's not enough time, but we'll make time for most things where we're going to sit down and chat. If your clients have an existing pharmacy that's looking after them well, even if you yourselves have an existing pharmacy that's looking after, that has looked after you well, use that resource. That ability to have the more personal interaction is always helpful. A bit more knowledge, a bit more understanding behind the information that's given.
And consumer medication information, you guys can print that out.
Yes.
If someone was confused about a medication, how it's used, why someone might get grumpy if they've missed a dose, or
that's it.
And also, you guys are. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
I was going to say on that. So your CMI, the consumer medication information, is a very good sheet brought out by the company that manufactures, and it's got the information that's readily available for everyone. The why, when, and how sort of idea. If there are multiple medicines, if there is complex regimes, other things like that, more often than not, you can actually have a chat with the pharmacist with what's called a meds check.
Yes.
It's a free program for patients that is subsidised for the pharmacist to sit down for 20 to 30 minutes, run through all the medicines, what they're there for, why they're there, how they interact with each other, and their best way to approach it. So it's a very effective way of getting more information about your meds.
And also, if you're taking that herbal supplement and wondering why you're getting a weird rash. I know that's a left field one, but this is another thing that a lot of people don't realise is some herbs and supplements and even foods can interact. I
Absolutely.
know.
If you're taking something to try to have an effect in your body, if it's more than just a standard plate of food, then we would consider that a drug, regardless of if it's pulled off a tree, made in a lab, put in a bottle. It's all of these things that go in. We're trying to get a chemical to the right levels in the body to have an effect, and they can all interact. If something can do something in your body at a particular dose, it can have side effects. That's pretty much the way it goes.
Yes, I'm addicted to a very socially acceptable chemical called caffeine.
Yes. It's the new opium den.
It is. Now, also, you guys are NDIS registered.
We are indeed. Yes.
Yes. That is. Can I shout out to you guys personally? That me at times has been an absolute godsend, especially with some of my weird left field requests.
It's what pharmacy specialises in, and look, it's the NDIS works alongside our offering with pharmacy as well.
Yeah.
Pharmacy, we've always had that individualised approach for the patient, the ability to discuss, find out what's needed, what's not needed, and then to find sourcing for different things along the way. And the NDIS is a very logical next step for us to be able to access things outside of straight medicines and the like for patients who are in the need.
Exactly. And also, yeah, I've lost my train of thought. My poor editor. So now, if someone was to consider pharmacy, whether it be cashiering assistant right up to advanced practice, what advice would you give them?
Make sure that you like to discuss things with patients.
Yes.
Pharmacy is an incredibly personal job where you're going to be talking to the full gambit of society that walks in. You will have the lovely person you look forward to seeing. You'll have the person who will call you 5 times a day who, while well-meaning and simply unsure, can become grating.
Yes.
You'll have patients that you don't like dealing with, and in the end, each and every person needs to be able to be looked after the same way. So it's a fairly standardised thing for anything in healthcare, and even for somebody who's looking for, simply working as a pharmacy assistant or being within the pharmacy, not as a pharmacist, you will be involved in their healthcare, and you will have an ability to look after people and help them out through their daily life.
And I have full consent to share this. I've had one family where I've literally seen mum get pregnant and now the kids are in high school. I'm like, when did that happen?
That's very scary to happen, yes.
And it does happen more than you think about as well. And you do get attached to your regulars. And that's the thing about having, I don't know what your perspective is on this, but this is my perspective on it. Having a regular pharmacy, you can pick up when something's wrong, when they're feeling a bit down, when Mr. Smith with their care worker comes in every Tuesday, he comes in with a different one and he doesn't get his jelly bean. You may not be able to solve it, but you can say, oh, do you not want your jelly beans? And start that conversation around, is there someone we can call for them? We may not be able to fix it, but we do have that space of maybe calling someone. Is it that he's realised that the jelly beans are affecting his teeth, and so we need to go over the sugar-free ones?
Some of the more important and pertinent conversations you have with patients is when you see them that often, when you know who they are and you know how that interaction is going to go. Some of the most helpful interactions I've had with patients is not when they've come in to ask a medical question, but when you're talking to them and you've picked up on something, and something just drops in the conversation, and you're able to be there to either help them straight away or be able to find someone who can give them that assistance.
Yes. It is quite a heartwarming part of the job when you get to the end as well. And also, you have to... No, that's an inside thought. And also, that's another skill. You need to be able to keep the thoughts inside your head very much.
Yes.
So
Inside voice, inside face.
Yes. And look, I never thought my subject that helps me most is actually drama, being able to keep that straight poker face. But can we remind our viewers and listeners that in pharmacy, there is no such thing as a stupid question, especially around medication,
No.
medication safety, storage of medications as well. And you guys offer sleep apnea as well, don't you?
We do, yes. No, look, we've got a number of extended things we look after, such as sleep apnea, continence assessments. We do compression garments as well, and then the usual medication packs and as we mentioned before, the new consults to be able to actually do a good. We've learned how to do correct physical examinations and diagnostic procedures, and if needed, prescribe.
Yes, and dose administration aids, commonly known as blister pack, often used in the disabled community, and they can be a godsend for support workers, care workers, and community nurses as well. But if you're not sure, if someone's given something and you're not sure, always just ring in. It is.
Exactly what you said before. No question is a silly question when it comes to medication safety, and particularly somebody else's medication safety that you're looking after. It's, a lot of troubles and issues are found by just one person having a bit of a red flag throw up in their mind, or to think something doesn't seem right. And it's you're better off asking and being told that it's and working out that it's okay, rather than not asking and having an issue develop along the way.
It is, and this is a huge thing with psychotropic medication versus, I'm mispronouncing that, I do apologise.
No, that was right.
Versus chemical restraints. Sometimes the support worker will pick up that they're over-medicated or under-medicated. It's a huge one as well in some communities as well. And so if this is a controversial take, but if a doctor's discussing medication, if you're thinking, but the side effects are too much, before you fill it, come and ask the pharmacist.
Well, always discuss, and most prescribers are going to be very good. If you know that a patient has had a side effect with something previously, and there's discussion of the dose going up, if we're able, discuss that while we're with the prescriber, because that's an important part, and it can be information that either they didn't have, weren't aware of, or just simply did not flag as an important point for the conversation.
Because you guys have got much more time versus a GP or a specialist, or even now positive behaviour support practitioners, who are becoming a very important part of the care teams, because medication should be, I think, the third resort before, because sometimes it might just be that person needs attention.
Yes.
And so, attention and being occupied, stimulated.
Correct, yes.
And that's where, for me, going back to work was actually the stimulation I needed. I needed the challenge of the store I'm working in. They're quite happy for me to record it, but we'll keep the name offline as well. And any final thoughts that you wanted to get out there as well in Australian, because Australian pharmacy is quite unique in the fact that only pharmacists can own pharmacies.
Yes.
And did you want to explain to our international viewers why that is the case? Because there is very specific reasons behind it.
Pharmacy's always been an interesting interplay between running a business and being a healthcare provider. And you can see that there are times where some of them have leaned too far towards running a business rather than offering healthcare.
Yes.
And having pharmacists own means that the person has gone through not just a university degree, but a degree in healthcare with a focus on looking after patients.
Yes, and that puts the patient care at the centre of the business, not the business.
That's right. Yes, looking after patients is the primary point. Can't tell you the number of times a day we have patients come in and you send them away with nothing because it's the best treatment.
Yes.
Which is absolutely essential for correct healthcare. And if you're purely business focused, there would be a push to make sure they make a sale, or they'll walk out with something. Properly healthcare focused means that the patient only has what is needed, and most of the time what they need is either time or rest or reassurance.
Yeah.
None of which costs anything.
No. And that's a big thing to the disabled community. It is okay to rest.
Yes.
It is okay to rest. Rest is a valid description.
Yeah.
And also, you will hear the funniest pronunciations of medications and things in here, and that's where drama is a huge part of it as well. But again, there's no such thing as a stupid question.
Not even a little. No.
No, and also like, I was going to say something again, and it seems to be any pharmacy that I've worked in this area and outside this area, that they will go out of their way to find mobility aids and stuff like that as well, because there's so many different suppliers now.
Yeah. Well, look, that ties in with our idea with working with the NDIS as well. Is there's you say you want a mobility scooter, there's 30 options out there, and it's like walking into a car dealership.
Yes.
We can finance this. The reason we like doing it through the pharmacy is that we can actually work with different suppliers. We can look at different things. We can actually get information on what it is that you're needing for your particular service or help with the disability, or even consumable products, finding out what's going to do
help.
the job. Yes.
And that's the big thing, is you guys have got access to the allied health professionals around town. You may, because some of the prescriptions you guys see may not be for a medication. It might be for a wheelie walker. It might be for compression boots. It might be for specialist dressings.
Yes.
Do not get me started on specialist dressings. They are interesting case at the moment with all the development. But there's some amazing research coming out of Macquarie about skin rehydration at the moment.
Yep.
I think you and I have both been following that one as well. But and guys, can we thank Andrew very much for giving up his time as well. So it has been amazing to have you on. And any final thoughts around particularly medication safety and storage as well? But one of the things that grates my gears, storing medication in the bathroom. No.
Humid and hot. Not what you want.
Yes. And people who may not supposed to have it, or may not be safe around it, or if you've got pets, I've heard of pets swallowing medication.
That's right.
It does actually happen. So where is the ideal place to store medications?
Generally up higher than is going to be easily reached by children or pets. You don't want to be above the stove or oven, which is going to get warmer than it should. Look, everyone's house and everything is going to be different, but often, say it can be in your own bedroom itself, up and out of the way, all in the one place. Items that are temperature sensitive, because we live in Queensland, and I don't think any drug company ever has considered Queensland in summer. There are temperature sensitive items that while normally don't have to live in the fridge, it's not a bad idea to be in the fridge for some of these items.
Did you? No, you can't list them. But yeah, temperature sensitive. Talk to your pharmacist about where you are. Location sensitive. Never even considered location sensitive as well, because what we're in spring and it's already up to 28 degrees.
It was 32 yesterday. Yeah, miserable.
Yes, I was in the luxury vehicle and I was not complaining.
No, I like my little air conditioned box each day. Yes.
Yes. And you are specialist in your community, because there's different pathways in pharmacy that you can go.
Yep.
Yeah. My greatest respect goes out to those who specialise in polypharmacy, clinical as well. I don't have the brains to do it. I'm quite happy to be on the front counter and cashier.
Whereas I'm happily obsessive enough to really dive into a lot of that, so yes.
And that's the thing, pharmacy brings in a lot of diverse people, even within the teams itself. So thank you very much for coming on the show and the podcast as well. And guys, if you're in Toowoomba, definitely give Andrew some love as well. Amazing team as well, and
very lucky to have the team we have here, absolutely.
And I think you said on the previous episode, the team can make or break a pharmacy.
I guarantee it makes or breaks, yes.
Yeah, and a well-trained, well-run team is like a ship. It just runs like clockwork. You can't tell I work in the industry.
Yeah, no, you've done this before.
Yeah, no, because guys, we are hoping to record in the new studio soon. We've found a appropriate studio in the appropriate space, which is amazing. I can reveal where it is. It's popped over at the old dairy. So
nice.
in Toowoomba, we actually have a heritage listed dairy, and Toowoomba is a very small place. My father and grandfather used to work there, but has been converted into a really funky art space, YouTube and recording studio. So that's where we are going to be moving very, very soon as well.
Excellent. Congratulations.
I know, it's been a hard slog. But look, my dad always said, and he still does, dreams don't work unless you do.
No.
So thank you for being on. Any final thoughts?
No, I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Will do. Oh. That one has stopped.